Hey, what's going on everyone? I'm Jonathan Wang and this is Motivational Money. We're going to talk about the one thing that everybody wants, money, in ways that shape out a mindset that can help get you to where you need to be. Now, in this episode, we'll be talking about the mindset to have in order to achieve our goals in finance. When it comes to goals, everybody has goals, and goals are great, but goals get derailed in life, especially in investing. Nobody wants to think about that, and that's fine. But what if those detours in life didn't have to end in failure? What if all you needed to change the outcome of events was just a change in mindset before you even started? What if you could already invest at a world-class level with nothing more than what you already have right now? In this age of technology, the internet has completely transformed the world in so many ways. Just look at the past 20 years. Before the internet was a thing, people spent their time with people, in person. Family time was the thing. Kids had curfews and Friday nights were like a scene out of Friday Night Lights. When it came to current news, journalistic integrity was a thing. When it came to investing in financial markets, people trusted reputable sources that they knew. Whether it was a printed publication like the Wall Street Journal or people in their circles that were familiar with a certain subject. If you're not that wealthy or well-connected, trading stocks was just not something most people would even think about because it was just not that accessible. Nowadays, screen time is a thing. Family time needs to be a scheduled event, and for kids, it takes an act of Congress to get them to put their phones down. When it comes to information, every conversation with a teenager is influenced by something they saw on social media. Soulless truth from people they've never even met. Journalistic integrity is now overrated because social credibility is now the thing. This is how far technology has come. The accessibility to information, whether it's live news on financial markets, opening a brokerage account, or commission-free stock trading, everything is available at the click of a button. Information has become so accessible and people have jumped on it. Now, how much of this information is quality information? How much of it is just a bunch of BS? How many times have you heard someone tell you something that you knew was too good to be true? And how many times have you seen someone get burned from that kind of information? How do you protect yourself from all the braggadocious testimonials or the exaggerated headlines? The good news is that quality information is still available and free. Seeing past the noise to be at your best is something that everyone can learn. Once upon a time, it used to be something that people could already do because they held on to journalistic integrity. Over time, the internet transformed everything from daily life, how businesses operate, to how we consume information. All the clever ways that people have disguised misinformation as truth has desensitized our BS filter. So before we take another step forward and get lost in the crowd, let's take a step back and look at what it once meant for a person to be a well-respected investor. Before any of the technical analysis begins, investing starts by building on a solid foundation. Here are the ABCs to investing at a world-class level. The ABCs of investing really start with you and getting you into the right headspace before you even look at the news. This is a concept called a blank check. As you place your first trade or your next trade, imagine someone you look up to, like a role model that inspires you or any influential figure that you admire. Imagine that person writes you a blank check, not for charity, but because they believe in you. They trust you and they want to see you succeed. All of a sudden, it just got real. The first question you'll have to answer is, what amount do I write on this check? If this person's a well-known figure like Warren Buffett, Dave Ramsey, or the late Steve Jobs, imagine it's $1 million. Immaterial to them, but more than enough to change your life, and definitely enough for them to remember who you are by what you do with it. If this is someone close to you, someone who has impacted your life in meaningful ways, but doesn't have much, imagine it's all they have left. It may not change your life, but definitely something you will never forget because of how much it was for them. It speaks to how much they believe in you. Will this affect the outcome of what you decide to be your next trade? Once you've decided on the amount to write on the blank check, the ABCs of investing leaves us with a lifelong lesson to carry with us throughout our financial journey. And that is, accountability builds credibility. Why is that important? Because most people are fearful of losing money, and too many are careless when it is their own money. Paralyzed by fear or blinded by recklessness. Neither of these are good qualities to have, so don't get distracted and don't get discouraged. It's okay to have a bad trade because it happens to everyone. Anytime you find yourself in a rut that leaves you feeling defeated, remember that it doesn't matter how you start off. It matters how you finish. It doesn't matter how many times you've lost on a trade if you can net positive after all is said and done. There will come many times in your journey that you will lose. You will fail. You will just suck at some trades. If you can learn something from those moments, then your greatest greatest setbacks will set you up for the greatest comeback stories that you get to tell for the very first time. Now, imagine the day you come to sit face to face with that person who wrote you the blank check. It's one thing if you can tell that person how much you made from it, but it's something else when you can tell the story of how you did it. The most unforgettable stories are the ones about how much you've learned from your greatest failures and how they brought you to your greatest strengths and triumphs. For those people that believe in you, you breaking even and being able to tell the comeback story is far better than not doing anything at all. Financially, they're both the same, but people that invest in you, they're investing in you for you. If they're investing for themselves, they might have considered other options. So anytime somebody invests in you, whether it's with their time or their money, hold yourself to a higher standard because accountability will always give you something to show for each and every time. Accountability will always let you walk away with more credibility than if you did nothing at all. If you have this mindset as you move forward as an investor, it puts you in a good place to make sound decisions. This is a foundation that builds on integrity, trust, and responsible decision making. It's a mindset that elevates your way of thinking to be more driven by a purpose rather than just a profit. So when you hear the question, what is your strategy? You're challenged to think, at my very best, what do I want my strategy to be? It's incredible to see how quickly we can find a passion for something when we see how much people believe in us. It inspires us to stand on higher ground and do things above and beyond what we would have ever expected from ourselves. When that comes to the nitty-gritty of investing, like all the research and all the hard work, it feels a lot better and definitely more worthwhile when you've got people in your corner rooting for you. Friends, the ABCs of investing remind us of what a privilege it is to have all this information in the palms of our hands. This is an opportunity for us to use it to be our best self to those around us. Carry yourself like the whole world is watching, and one day, your credibility will bring you to places that you never thought you could be. You might just find yourself writing that blank check for somebody that you believe in too. And when you find that person paralyzed by fear but filled with so much potential, you will see in them what somebody once saw in you. The ABCs of investing are the building blocks for the greatest comeback stories that you get to realize for the very first time. So where do we begin? Now that our head's in the right place, how do we begin to see past the noise and make sense of quality information? At the core of every business is their most prized financials. For public companies, these are absolutely free. So how do we learn to understand the 3 financial statements without an MBA? We just need to answer 4 key questions. Until next time, I'm Jonathan Wang. Stay sharp. Stay safe, everyone.